Okay, we're live. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to TFC Live. This is Season 3, Episode 33. Okay, of the open mic. So, Robin, on my behalf, decided to call this one, as a collective, Manticore Madness, because I've seen that money flying around the screens over the last sort of 48 hours. I thought it's a suitable title. A little bit light on the panel tonight, but for the first time, Jamie, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. You're doing quite well, I saw here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which world are you in first?
143.
143. Okay, so the beta guys, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. It is. So you let the alpha guys take all the pain first for the first hour, and then hang around, and hopefully it's all been sorted out. And 143. That's good. Yeah, because I've been down around the 160s before, but not down as far as 140. So good news. Yeah. Is it a busy sector? Is it?
Fairly busy.
Yeah. How are you finding because I always find sometimes it's for raiding, especially at these ones, it's sometimes helpful to space all your bases out and obviously not have too many people in the sector, because then you struggle because everyone's going for the same targets. Are you finding that, or is it not too bad?
Not bad.
Oh, that's right. Good to hear. Evening, Ozzy. How are you? Are we having a mic issue? Go on, we'll give it a go. If you're struggling on mic, mate, just type in the sidebar chat there, and we'll catch it up.
Very well, thank you. How are you?
How are you? You're right. I can just about hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes, loud and clear. How are you? I can hear him, but I'm not sure if he can hear us yet. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you're doing all right in the world rankings.
Very well.
Here. Good, mate. Good. Thanks very much. What sector are you in, buddy? Yeah. So so you're doing all right in the world. I think he's listening on YouTube as well. Good, mate. Good. Thanks very much. What sector are you in, buddy?
Hang on, I'm gonna have to refresh because it's lagging.
No worries. Okay, mate. He's struggling there a little bit. Anyway, I know Nick. Wayne's in with me as well at the moment, but he can't literally get to his mic until about 15:15. So yeah, not so ideal. What I did thought we'd have a little look at is just to remind us of a couple of things. Is just to go through a couple of slides, if you don't mind, and just we can discuss. And we'll pick up the points in chat. I know Ford's in there as well. Hello, mate. How you doing? Nick's in there as well, which is nice to see. Richard, I can see. Who else? We've got Robert in there as well. Joseph. Shane's in. Good to see you, mate. Yeah. In fact, Robert's been there a long time. Robert actually logged in, I think it was about 9 o'clock. So he's been waiting an awful long time. Right. So that was a title screen we had from the obviously the live show, but we had on Wednesday. They said that they've done this one here, and they've pushed everything to the right-hand side. So I don't know what people think about that. So they're saying this is supposed to be a catch-up raid. And it's got nothing to do with PvE. This is all about, getting yourself up to we must be near the end of the series of the tier 7 and the PvP stuff before we have another OP upgrade. So potentially they're probably thinking people are behind, or is it what they tried to say on their own live show to say, we don't think people have got all the pieces of the pie, so that they can actually have a bit more of a contextual sort of like understanding of the whole piece. I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. Players first. Is this part of the players first, or is this a case of just dump it all on you now and see what you can do? I'm really not sure. Hey, Rum. You there, mate?
Me?
Hello, Rum. How are you, mate?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. I was just saying, mate. I mean, I'm not really sure whether people think that this is a players first raid because we've got a chance to get everything, relevant to whether you've got the ships or not got the ships. But there's the opportunity there, and nothing's locked away. But what do you think? They're just dumping it all on us now just because the next OP upgrades around the corner, and they're a bit worried that we're not already ready for it?
I think they've already paid for the technology, so they got to get it out there. Otherwise, it becomes worthless if they wait till after the first of the year.
Yeah, a little bit like what was the previous ballistic hull we had from the tier 6 series? What was that a really good little hull as well? But the problem is it came right at the end of the series and then it was worthless, which was it'll come to me in a moment. But yeah, that was a real shame for that poor little thing, because it was actually quite decent. And apart from using it as a bit of a prepper for morts, it didn't do anything whatsoever. I'm trying to make the name of it.
Yeah, I'm having trouble calling it up as well.
It'll come to me in a moment. What was it called? The Malice. That was it. The Malice. I've just had a quick look on good old Huggies, just to have a little, just to have a little double check. Memory's not quite what it was. But yeah, I'm wondering if we're in the same situation. You know, we are getting sort of like towards the end of the year, and people are struggling a little bit, I think, to come to terms with A, there's random damage types, and B, there's not quite the sort of same series of holes that we had in let's say 2015. Let's not say 2016 and 17, because I don't think either of those was very good, to be honest. 2018 has turned out to be very similar to last year, whereas, you know, they had that godforsaken 7 series. Well, not all of them were 7 series, but where, you know, you had to interact all your holes to have a decent base hitting fleet. And this year it's been very, very similar. They haven't used the same concept, you know, but the format is very, very similar. And look at the current hole we've got at the moment. So, yeah, we've got this really, really nice, you know, Witch Doctor. But the problem is it's only really, really good against one thing, and that's that new series of turrets that's come out. It's average and mediocre against everything else, unless you want to fill it full of weapons that then make it totally mediocre and actually base hitting. So,
well, they're still building on the Voltron sequence, just not the same way.
yeah, exactly. You know, I tried to sort of discard the word altogether, because the Voltron makes people think of, you know, the interaction between hull types and that sort of stuff, you know, and that was a real problem with the 7 Deadly Sins, wasn't it? Because once you lost the capability of one, you know, you've lost the capability of the fleet. This way, they've done it on the weapons and via deflection as opposed to armor, because obviously it jumped up a lower level. But it's not there, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know how they're going to overcome it. I know they said they're going to rewrite PvP, and it's part of the refractory. And
yeah, but if they would just get it on and get it over with, that'd be great. I mean, you know, they've got to admit that they made mistakes. They've got to admit that they've given us crap, and they've got to start. Don't continue with the bad stuff. Say, yeah, we're just going to finish it off. Let's get on with the rewrite.
My concern is they're going to finish off the tier 7 stuff and do nothing, and they'll only start at the tier 8.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about that, because that means then for a period of time, we'll either go back to only one PvP ship is going to be good and the rest of them are going to be rubbish, which is okay for the mega coiners because they'll always get it, but that means everybody else is going to be a farm. Or it'll be unobtainium, basically, won't it?
Well, I think this raid is one of the most important raids that we've had, and the only reason I say that is if you don't get Witch Doctor and the turrets, you're going to miss a complete cycle.
Yeah,
on the base hitting.
Yeah,
You're going to be a farm in both aspects of the game. You'll have fleets that can't get anywhere, and you'll have a base that dies.
Yeah, Jamie, is that your sort of thought? Is that where you're sort of like making sure you're getting everything?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a worry, isn't it? You know, there's nothing worse than all of a sudden going, oh, I've only had, you know, and then all of a sudden you go, right, and now, you know, there's a certain turret special, the caustic one, you know, for the corrosive turrets, that it's not in this, you know, surprisingly, it's not in this raid series, you know, and it's a PvP one, and it's the special that's actually designed for these turrets, and yet it's not here, you know, which I find is a bit odd, to be honest. But and I even asked for it to be included, but it didn't. It fell on deaf ears. So I'm hoping it may turn up as a tier 4 prize in the FM or something, you know, because, you know, there's not to unleash the full potential, particularly of the mid range. You know, the new adder. Then you need that special. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full whack that you're hoping to get out of this.
Didn't they already offer that at one time?
Yeah, they did. So they offered it previously, but you
Which
know,
one
that's
is it?
yeah. So again, a percentage of people have got it, you know, but there are some people that haven't, you know, and they've never, only because they never got the adders, because the adder was a very restrictive sort of an expensive turret which had a long build time and which shied a lot of people away from it, you know, just the same as the epic cat morts and that sort of stuff, you know. But now, unfortunately, you know, as you've just said, you know, getting it all early is going to save you pain later on. But obviously, getting it all, you've got to have the time and the fleet to do that. So, yeah, I don't know. Ozzy, how's your mic, mate? Is it all right?
I don't know. Is it working now?
It is working. Yeah, I'll just turn the volume up a little bit. So, where are you? You are here. Welcome to the show, mate. You all right?
Yep, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good,
Try
mate. Good. So, what world are you in, mate? And what sort of level are you? And well, I don't really care about base level, but how are you getting on with the raid?
Yeah, I'm in 416.
You're at the top.
Doing really well. Doing good.
Yeah, I tend to find that most people from down under, sort of like, me being a pobby, that sort of stuff, tend to stick around the 400s. Is that because of the timelines for you?
Yeah, the timeline for 400 is good for me. Usually, at the moment, the raid starts at 4 o'clock in the morning here. So that's pretty good.
All right, so
Really
that's
miss out on a lot of things.
so on corresponding. Then when it finishes, you can sort of like just stay up late and then you're done.
Yeah.
Whereas most people
Instead of
have
it
sort of
starting
gone to work already, sort of thing,
Yeah, instead of it starting at 1 o'clock in the morning, if I go in alpha,
Yeah.
it works out a little bit better for me here.
Yeah, early start, go to work, and then carry on. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay. Let me just add some stuff. I'm going to see if I can try and get somebody to jump on as well. Try and get one or two more people in. It'd be nice. So how are you doing for points, buddy, anyway?
Me, I think I'm on. Hang on, I'll just double check.
I can tell you in a second.
Just over 1 billion.
What?
What?
Just over 1 billion.
Why?
Yeah, I'm at 900.
Now you're one of the first ones on here that's ever been that topped the 1 billion point range. Why?
You must be mad.
Well, actually, I was the very first person to get 1.7 billion. I was the first person to actually get over 1 billion way back. Just because I could.
And is that the only reason?
Well, at the moment, I'm still trying to get everything. That's why I'm still going now. Where am I?
But what is it
Still
you're?
quite
I
a bit to
mean,
get it.
I know there's certain things you want to get and that sort of stuff. But are you like also getting the Skyfire tokens and all that sort of stuff?
No, I'm not getting them. No, still.
Are you missing lots of stuff? I can't think what it is you're getting.
Where are you on the leaderboard right now?
He's 11.
Oh, thank you. There you go. I'm 11.
Someone share the screen and show me the leaderboard, because there must be. What, there's more than one person above 1 billion.
Yeah. See, it's crazy.
There's a lot.
Good lord.
There
I've not had a chance to get on the game today, hardly at all, because I've been doing other Facebooky type things and doing the page and helping people up build and stuff. So I've not actually been able to play mine at all. I'm doing mine tomorrow.
18 people above 1 billion, with the last billionaire being the vengeful one.
Wow, look at that.
I'll be there by the end of tonight.
Really?
Why?
I'm at 931 million right now.
I'm astounded.
hey, Mark, how many points have you got?
Mate, I haven't got a clue. Probably 100 million, I think, something like that. Which I thought was good. I used one Grease Monkey crew, and that's what I've done so far.
I'm a slacker. I've only got 283 million.
Yeah, and I've done nothing today. I mean, I did the preview show, obviously the first hour in alpha, did that, and then I came on later on Friday. Didn't do anything the rest on Thursday, and later Friday I did an hour, the hour and a half, sorry, with the Grease Monkey crew, and I've not been back on since. So
when I came on at 4 o'clock, when the raid started,
you got up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I was on here at 4 o'clock. I came on, and I was on at 4 o'clock, and this guy here, this top one,
Yeah,
he was on 600 million. This one.
Yeah,
Giannis, yeah.
Giannis, yeah.
Yeah,
He had
was on that.
1 billion points 12 hours in.
Yeah. Then he went up to 800 and something, and then he stopped for a while, and then then he flew up again because a few of them got over 1 billion, so he shot up.
So have you blitzed any targets, or have you just literally done tier 8 and nothing else?
Don't blitz. No, hardly any tier 8s, all tier 7s.
What? That's even worse.
Yeah, it is.
Damn, I've been doing the
I'm not going to lie. I won't lie. I have done some. Hang on.
Blitzing?
No, not blitzing. No.
Some tier 8.
Okay. So 13 to 48. What's that? That's 15.
Oh yeah. No, 13 to 48. Yeah.
cents.
So you take off. No. So
hang
you've
on,
done
48.
what? 35, haven't you?
35.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done
35.
35. There you go.
35 targets. Is what you've
Targets.
done, so.
Yeah, 35. So 16, 17, 17.
Do you know? I have not heard of someone play that amount probably for about 5 years. When it used to be like the first people to get the top 3,000 people would get the, ECM hull or something like that, So everyone just stays on and on and on and never goes to sleep and drinks Gatorade and all that sort of stuff. Because I was one of those people. But since it is the way it is now, I'm like, what do I actually need? And then what can I be bothered with?
Well, I mean, the same thing is going on that I mentioned last week. What do you build with the refactor coming? What do you actually waste time on, knowing that 99% of the time it's not going to be worthwhile?
Yeah, it's a pure guess, isn't it? And if the refactor is coming and it comes before bounty, then we are all. I'd hope to think it's not.
Well, let me ask you a question.
If it's going to be completely smooth run and nothing's gone wrong, and it's just a case of move some numbers around, I'll be stunned.
Since they pushed the raid back a week, bounty would normally start next week. Are they pushing it back as well?
Well, everything's no. In fact, no, because
see, this raid should have actually taken place last Thursday.
Yeah, so I think everything's moved a week, hasn't it? So they gave it an extra week. So they should be next weekend. Obviously, should be VXP, and then the following weekend should be bounty, shouldn't it? Which will be. Hang on a minute. Let me just double check. Let me just make sure I've got that right.
I'm just wondering why they keep pushing things back like that. Because I mean, that's just postponing the inevitable.
But yeah, you are right. So if VXP kicks in and VXP weekend starts on the 23rd, which it will do, that'll make bounty kick around on the 30th then, which will overlap and go into the 1st.
Which will actually be
Yeah, the calendar's up for next week, so we should be able to have a look at it. If someone can get on the Kickside forum, I did post up the Friday update.
Yeah, I looked at the forum and I didn't see anything on there for the bounty next week, but it should have actually started on Thursday.
Yeah, well, I think it's been pushed then because it's all it mentions about is VXP. So
okay,
which is something. Yeah, interesting.
I feel sorry for the people that don't have the turrets built by that point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I can be bothered on get all the turrets. I'd almost rather just slow hit some base part targets and just do them during the week. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not decided this weekend. I'm not going to sit down and just do hours and hours and hours because it's a catch-up raid and 99% of it I've already got. So finding my own enthusiasm to sit down as I normally do is not been that easy. But yeah.
Can you put up bounty 13th as August 30th?
Okay, that sounds about right then. Yeah. So that'll be the first time it sort of overlapped then, and then gone into the next month as well. Well, not the first time, but it's that would make sense. So VXP as per normal, then into bounty, and then obviously they said it was going to be a 3-week gap between this one and 3 FMs, sorry, between this one and the next one. So yeah, not too bad. But anyway, yeah, so all's good. So has anybody here done the Cold Fusion campaign, by the way? The TLC, the Skyfire one?
No.
You haven't done it? Because I mean, I did mention on the page to people this. I did it as a quick, after I did that hour and a half sort of like first look. I went and did it with 2 Zealouses and some monos, and every target was free. And then I saw somebody else doing it, and he was repairing on the map for free as well, and he was just using his FM fleet. It didn't cost him a darn thing. So he was, while he was doing all his raiding, he was in the background just hitting the targets. Whether you need it, whether you don't, I don't know. But I mean, it's free, isn't it? You get 69 Skyfire tokens, and you can always build your second fleet, I think. You can't assist. It's not compa. It's not a co-op, but for most people, it's,
I got rid of my first one, so I don't think I need to rebuild a second one.
You're Mr. Cadies, though, or is that a rude word at the moment?
No, that's a good word.
It's a good word, is it? It's better than man and war.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mine built yet?
Have you not?
No.
Excuse me.
I'll put the link up in the chat if anyone wants to join in, just in case there's anywhere there. I mean, Cadies is great because obviously there was apart from there's that one target, isn't there, in the tier 7 that occasionally goes pop on you.
Yes.
and then kills your boat
Yeah, and then you cry.
because it's what 30 odd hours to fix it or something.
67 coins, however much that equates to.
Ouch.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever clicked the 67 coins?
No, I wouldn't do it. You can go out and run. We've got snipers. Everybody's got snipers, so they love trying to snipe that Katie's. And occasionally a glitch will happen or something. They'll get it. I'll go in. I'll put 1 coin on it. I'll go out and run it for hours again. That's the whole thing with the Katie's. You can snipe it all you want. It has no effect because 1 coin will allow me to do everything I was going to do anyway.
Right. Yeah. Jamie Fisher. Good evening. Sorry, mate.
Evening, guys.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Fine. Cool. Then, so how many billion do you have on this raid?
I actually don't have billions. I'm just under 300 million.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's 2 of us.
That's a logical amount to win.
I'm actually at 306.
All right. Okay. That's good. If you had to,
Yes, hearing
much-
background here.
how many hours have you had to put in for that? Are you managing the top levels, or are you T7ing it?
Top levels. It's just about a day and a half.
All right. So not so bad then.
No.
I don't know. A day and a half of a life is still a long time, though, isn't it?
It's dreadful.
It's dreadful. Yeah. Yes, it's about sums it up, doesn't it?
Don't have the proper stuff that you wanted.
Yeah, I've yet again refitted my fleet again, I must admit. And then
have
I
you
saw
done
somebody
this
else's
time?
fleet. So this time I've done something slight. I'll show you the picture in a minute anyway. But yeah, so I've done some other stuff because I found that the blooming ships were much faster this time, so I wanted to catch them up. So I've chucked on some different scatters, the cheater ones. And in doing so, I've not had any problems with missiles. So now all of a sudden I can concentrate on actually corrosive damage as opposed to as much missile damage, because obviously the MDS3s are better than Phalanx 4s, so having no dramas. And Venom's just popped in. Hello, buddy. How are you, mate?
The $1 billion man.
Hey,
And Ren, how are you, mate?
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, good,
Ren.
mate. Good. So yeah, a couple of things. It's a good time to pop in. So a couple of things I wouldn't mind just if you would, and Samuel as well. Hello, Samuel. How are you, mate?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, a couple of things. It's a good time. Someone's got YouTube on. If they could just mute it, that'd be great. These are the things. So we know about the event, and we know the store closed and that sort of stuff. The store's entirely unlocked. So what do we think about that? Do you think that was a good idea, or do you think it was just actually impossible? I suppose they could have locked away the new Witch Doctor, couldn't they, and made you sort of like work for it, but that would almost negate the reason we're having this raid. It's supposed to be a catch-up raid.
don't lock things, please. Just keep it unlocked.
I agree 100%. I don't
Yeah,
care
I'm
what it is.
intrigued what's going to happen next month now.
Totally agree.
You know what? You want your players to get as much equipment as they can so they can enjoy playing the game. Don't make them jump through hoops. Give them a reason to play.
My whole life's been jumping through hoops. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, but
but it's
this
refreshing
is
for-
fun.
If
This
it's
is not
refreshing.
supposed to be a job, right? This is supposed to be fun. We want to come on here. We want to have fun. The more fun we have, the more money we spend, which is what people have said forever. Don't lock this crap away.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? I must admit, like, some people still haven't got, obviously the flagship, and then like, oh my God, it's like 30, but at least they can get to the darn thing. Whereas the first time around, it was locked behind the lock store, then it was on the ladder, and it stopped people to get to the lock store, and now it's here again, and it's, they have extended it a month because, it's going to take them that long to get the thing if they are getting it, and they'll suffer because if they've only got a certain amount of points, if they are struggling. I've seen plenty of Skyfires out there, and Phoenix is still being used. I've even seen some Apollos. A guy in the sector next to me is using nothing but Apollos, and he's smashing 41 targets. I've never seen a guy really, for every time I log in, there he is hitting the targets. He must be really
Wow.
dedicated. I'm not sure who he's going for. Maybe it is for a lead Manticore, or maybe it's for something else. I don't know, but
So can I jump ahead on this screen real quick and go down to the bottom?
yes. So yeah, jump
Why-
out the committee. The shards thing. I put that on
Yeah.
personally because it's gripping me massively.
Why? Okay. I'm about making it easier for the player to have an opportunity to get what they need. Make those as something they can claim in the raid and put the other 3 items that we need, base parts, titanium, and uranium, as some sort of a shard collection. Get 5, get a 500,000 points. You know, just something that's useful.
I would like the shard just to be a generic shard if it could be, and then you can go and say, right, well, this one costs you, just like your Tiger tokens and stuff you used to get at the petrol stations. Once you've collected up shards, you can then go into like an arcade. You can go to the Win store and go, actually, rather than normal raid points, I've also done shards, and maybe you get like one shard for the T8, and you only get half a shard for doing the T7, but you still get some shards.
Yeah,
and then you can say, right, well, actually, I'm going to go into the shard area, and or maybe that's just encouraging them to make even targets more unobtainable. I don't know.
I think it's really stupid that they have something like the Missile Defense System 3 in a target that requires you to have the Missile Defense System 3 already on.
right.
Like,
they're famous for that, though. Venom, you know that. Can you turn your mic up a little?
I just did for him, hopefully.
Thank you. No, it's they're putting this out as a catch-up raid, right? But the items you need for next raid, if you're wanting to catch up, is the flagship and the Missile Defense System 3. But the Missile Defense System 3 you have to do the top target for, and you're only getting shards for it every 4 or 5 targets. And the Makara is still ridiculously expensive compared to everything else. Even the new PvP stuff is way cheaper than the Makara.
I thought it'd be half by now. I really did.
Yeah, but with the top prizes, the top shards, they're random though, aren't they? They could be. You're not actually sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's every 4 or 5 top tier target you'll possibly get it.
For me, it seems like reinforced reactive armor was my #1, unfortunately.
It's funny, I was getting more. I think I got like half of my shards were MDS3, so I was happy.
Oh, you lucky man.
That would be nice.
Ren's getting all of our shards then.
Yeah.
Let's go attack Ren's base and take him.
Come over.
Imagine if you could steal shards.
Enjoy the halftime repair.
Yeah, no problem. Ren, you know better than that. How many of the turrets have you got built already?
How many of the turrets? I got 3.
Built and in your base already?
Which 3?
Yeah.
Which 3?
I did one of each because I wanted to play with them.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. You want to test something, obviously.
I've been testing things with the new turrets and the long range one.
Yeah.
I
tried the SSKP because somebody said it was working. It's not. Then I tried Sulfide Deployer, hoping that the label saying scattergun reload actually meant corrosive reload, but it doesn't. So it doesn't work either.
Yeah.
It's just been trying some shit.
It's upsetting. The normal turrets, what we've come to expect is anything with a flak evade is going to be able to be shot down. This time it's a missile turret with corrosive damage, but it doesn't have a flak evasion. Phalanx doesn't work against it, which is correct to what should happen, but Nightwatch does, which seems like a bug, possibly.
It doesn't make any sense because on the list of things they shoot, you see the same things.
Yeah. So
except for mortar, of course. But if one says missile, the other says missile, you expect both of them to freaking shoot the thing.
Yeah.
Or none of them, right?
It seems like a bug.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be shot down. But there are ways to make it so that the turret still lands. Just overload the antis and it lands pretty quickly. Doesn't do very much, but it lands.
I'm not sure if you can see that there, but because I sent this to Ren and that sort of stuff, and going by the written mechanic, the written mechanic, SSKP is at the top corner there, and it actually says accuracy that should make the thing more accurate, okay, which has got nothing to do with the payload. That's to do with the item that's taking the payload to the target, and it also says it should have a reload bonus. But we know that because it doesn't say missile, it's not actually. But then again, there is no special in the game that actually says that you can fit on a turret that says missile, extending missile range. It always says penetrative and that sort of stuff. And as Ren says, it works on some turrets, but it doesn't work on others. And the whole thing, I get, the the penetrative damage, it's not going to increase that because it's not a penetrative, as in, it's not a penetrative weapon system. It's a corrosive one. But then other things shouldn't work. I mean, the generic ones like accuracy, that should work, but some people have said that priority targeting is not working. So
priority target, there are questions whether it works or not at all, not just in this turret.
Yeah, it's a bit buggy.
It is, but the whole, this is that never-ending chain of, adaptations as it goes along. Back in the very, very early days when it was really simple, and there was only 4 turrets and it was just common sense, but now we're getting these multiple and overlapping, the very chance that, a missile can carry a payload that's other than, penetrative, it's going to cause issues because then you're involving 2 different mechanics. And unfortunately, this is the classic example where the death side is not giving anybody that many options.
And just to be clear, I mean, that map, I don't want anybody taking that map we have on screen now as gospel, because that map is what it should be, but it's not. The map doesn't work.
Yeah, so that's why I've not put it on our page and sort of stuff. But this is just an example to say that this is where you think it would go, but it's not actual. Because the 2
specials at the bottom will give you the damage. The priority targeting should give you the accuracy. The thermobaric casing 4 actually gives you the projectile speed, but that's all.
That's it. Yeah.
I wonder if a smart warhead should give you accuracy, because that accuracy is listed as generic. But I wouldn't put my hand on fire for that one.
No, same. I mean, that's another testing thing. But then who wants to go and do that? I mean, you have to be a pretty keen coiner or have lots of refit tokens to be doing that sort of stuff.
Not interesting to see that we have these confusing. I suppose you're talking about how it's written stats and where you would expect it to be, and talking about it being intuitive.
Yeah.
And yet we have had Wrong Thinker and that on talking about players first and wanting to change PvP and wanting to make the game more intuitive and complaining about how we don't need X or Y or any number of these stats and to make it simpler so people can enjoy it. But what's the point when it's at this point wordplay rather than anything else?
Yeah, it is. And it's, as is mentioned in chat there in the sidebar, to me, I'm minded as an engineer, to me, you've got the delivery system. And just think of it as Amazon using the drones now. The package itself, the payload, it can be a box of flipping, Maltesers, it can be a bottle of champagne, it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is, but the UAV that it's flying around on, whether it's the range, okay, whether it's the flipping accuracy, which is the guidance system, whether it's the speed it gets there, so that's the power of the engines, it's got nothing to do with the payload. So everything is to do with the vehicle, how it gets there, the accuracy of it, that could be down to the navigator, the driver, the guidance system, that sort of stuff. The payload itself.
I'd say you're right. Statistics like projectile speed, accuracy, range, they are all related to the delivery method, not the payload. The only thing that's related to the payload is stuff like splash and damage or duration of damage over time. I mean, that's when you drop the payload and then the payload takes effect.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. So I understand, just like when people say, the ships need sorting out and that sort of stuff, just as much in PvP, so do turrets and specials, particularly specials on turrets. It's just as important, I think, to get these squared away. And they should be able to find it much easier because there's far less of them. There's a lot less of these available to us, because they've come in quite late in the game. So I think it's also something that should be done in the refactory at the same time. Just to clarify.
Maybe I'm a silly guy, but like when they say players first and whatnot, they've done some things. I honestly don't expect them to fix 8 years of accumulated mistakes and confusion in a month. But that's, if they ever listen to this show here, that's the kind of thing they should focus on their whole PvP refactor, not just changing the Conquerors.
Yeah. I mean, and the last little thing before I drop this, like I said, please don't copy the screen unless you want to put a complaint in, because the orange bits is what we that's why it's not green. If it was green, I'd say, yeah, it's all working perfect. But I put it in amber sort of color, and I've crossed out the bits in red to say that they just don't work at all, But down the bottom, then the two specials that actually affect the payload, i.e. the thing that does the damage, most people have probably got the hydroxide coated barrels from previous, but if you didn't pick up the adder, you've not got the caustic catalyst, and that's the one that it's a huge benefit to have that one over the other one. The multi-shot is 3 as opposed to 2. Corrosive damage is 50, not 30.
I want to correct a common misconception, TSM. Like I've seen people on comms saying stuff like, "Well, no, I'm gonna put the older one because it's only 2 extra multi-shots, so it's not gonna divide the damage as much." And people are still not fully cognizant that multi-shot does not behave like salvo. Like salvo, the more salvos you have, the more you divide the original damage by, correct?
No.
Multi-shot, it doesn't. Once you do the initial division, that damage per shot is constant. So the more shots you add, the more damage you're doing. So you do want the special with more multi-shots. Just to make that clear again for whoever might.
Just a little bit more clarity on that. It's you take the original multi-shot and divide the damage, the initial damage, but once you add more multi-shot, it's you're taking that final damage,
yes,
and multiplying it by how many shots there is.
Yeah.
So yes, in one case you are dividing multi-shot, but only the original multi-shot, not the additional ones you're adding on.
Which in itself is confusing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good time just to bring up this little one here. So this is the other confusing area. Okay, so we've got 3 basically different sort of weapons, although they're corrosive. Sorry, turrets, but they're also corrosive. But some are affected by some things, and some aren't affected by some things, and some are affected by no things. Does ship deflection affect dot? Okay, we already know that corrosive deflection now does, but it was a random discovery according to Templar. Why isn't fire support supporting it? Because corrosive came out after fire support was brought into the game. Corrosive fire support 1. So where the ship crew steelheads, it's not written in there, but it actually does affect and defends against corrosive damage, although it's not written in the blueprint. You would have hoped that fire support, it's not written in the blueprint, but it would have had an effect, but it doesn't. That's not a bad thing in some respects, because the turrets would be massively overpowered, which we initially thought. I know Wayne's back in. Hey, Wayne, how you doing?
Oh, yeah.
We actually contacted Kickside because we thought we were going to be up in the sort of like 15 to 70 million damage point, but then we found out that actually that's not the situation.
And they knew that. They tuned knowing, right? I mean, when they release a turret and that they know people will put them around 5 fire supports and whatnot, they tuned them based on the fact that it will be surrounded by fire support, so they are underpowered on their own. In this case, although it's convoluted because that's the only damage type not being buffed by fire support, I actually find that liberating, because now I can put those turrets wherever the hell I want. Yeah,
stick them on the water, drop them around your base wherever you need them. I like it, I have to say, but it's still confusing that, why doesn't fire support say not corrosive? It'd be much easier then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Just to make 2 points, before anyone looks at that damage stat, that's damage before turret defense. So it should be half.
Yeah, that's the max worst case. Wayne's got his calculator working now, so we're going to have a little look at that once he's got his page up.
The second point is, and hopefully Kickside do listen to the show, it took 3 of us a rather long time to figure out, as well as having to ask questions of the devs, just what was going on. That's a big problem if people who know what they're doing have to go running and asking the questions, because we don't know. That's a big problem, and they really need to look into their delivery system and explanations of what's going on.
And things have to be in-game. I mean, it's very cool they have forum posts. It's very cool there are community shows. It's very cool they have their own little stream on Fridays. But, game stats and game behavior has to be made clear in-game.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
That statistic of damage per projectile should be in the stat block of a turret, of a weapon, after it's equipped. I mean, that little stat we have on the hull today, that very, very early in the game was useful, that just lists the total damage against ships the hull does, that's useless today. I much rather see, you know, per weapon, what is the damage I'm getting per shot? Because that's what everybody cares in PvP.
Well, particularly in PvP, yeah, exactly. So that's timely. So Wayne's got his Ahoy Mahati website, and he's actually built around that exact thing that we've been looking for. This is version 1. I know he's going to bring in a new version, which is a little bit like Huggy, where you can drop down a screen, you know, option, and you see a picture, because a lot of people are visual rather than the words. It's hard to remember the name of everything, but as an example, then, so he's looking at the Drax scattergun in this thing here, you know. So we know it's one of the new turrets. What are the best specials for it? You know, he's now managed to calculate it. But the good thing is the total damage, which is what you want to know, because even in defensive mode, you want to know how much armor to put on your ship. It's really, really important. So he's actually got a formula there as well against siege battery, you know, and if it's got a critical damage chance, that sort of stuff. So we're trying to sort of like make it at least sort of semi-understandable, because there's a lot of black art in this, or it seems like it to me. Wayne, do you want to take it away, mate, and just build that one turret? Oh, in fact, I don't know if we want to do one or two, or just a quick example.
Yeah, I've got my screen on. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, it's locked on. Yeah.
Okay. So as you know, the corrosive, the Drax scattergun is a corrosive. So I've already preloaded it on my page, the Drax scatter, and because it's got 10 multi-shot, it's automatically reduced it by a factor of 10 down to 362,000 instead of the 3.6 million.
Okay.
So there is only 2 specials which we know of at the moment, which are the core stick and the hydroxide coated barrels. So the core stick catalytics, as you can see, automatically bumps it up to 544, where the actual coated barrels, where are we? There we are. Is only 471, well, nearly 472,000. So there is a quite a bit of difference already because of the 30% damage increase instead of the 50% damage increase. Now, I've also got it set up as everybody knows that we can add the ATT transformer. We know we can have a maximum of 8 in the group, and we know that for the best scenario would be to have the corrosive scourge faction. Now, the maximum we can see with the hydroxide coated is around about 2.3 million total damage before siege battery. If I just change it back over to the core stick, you will see the 2.645 million total damage, which is what they have stated to us that is the maximum damage we can deliver. Now, that's before, obviously, the critical damage, and the critical damage, sorry, the siege battery, and that will take it down to only 1.3 million in damage per multi-shot. So it's not that high. I don't know what everybody feels about the new hull. That will obviously mitigate all of that. I'm not quite sure what the other hulls do with mitigating it all. I've not that really looked into it properly yet.
Well, that's timely, mate. Rum, you were saying earlier on, weren't you, about the Voltron effect and that sort of stuff, and that's the problem now, isn't it? So, though 1.3 doesn't sound that high, it is exceptionally high for a missile cruiser or an impact cruiser and that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Without the right weapons, yes.
Yeah, without the right weapons. But the problem is then if you're putting opposing weapons to what that ship's designed for, you're actually taking some of the strength away from that hull itself.
Absolutely, and that's the problem we're getting into. You can design boats to get to where you want to, but you can't do any damage to the base.
Yeah, I mean, I've already built a witch doctor and that sort of stuff, you know, and I've got 2 options. I've got one which is like super powerful with loads and loads of scatters, but actually put it near a radiation turret and it's at it, you know, or I've got one that can stand up to 99% of the damage, but it's, you know, it can fight its way out of a paper bag, I think, and that'll be about it. So finding that sweet spot is not easy, is it?
No, it's go ahead.
But I thought the whole idea of the rock, paper, scissors, lizard spot game
Yeah, no, totally agree. So in some concepts, the thought process has been brought back into the click the back of the base is definitely going away. I get
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing, and it's great, Rum, isn't it? It's really, really good. I like it, because now it's making people think. But the problem is, as you were saying, then you've now got to go, whoa, man! I've just been given all this stuff. So, do I want this faction? Am I going for Scourge in my base? Well, what's going to happen to penetrative? Am I, how are you still going to do enough? And then on the opposing flip side of it, you got to go, right. So then I've got to bring in this. All right. So there's a rad turret. And I can see what his faction is. Right. I can also see that he's got 8 of those. Okay. So I need to bring this ship forward first, or this one, choose, or bugger, I didn't bring it in the fleet. Let me go back and get it, and that sort of stuff. So,
but
a lot of what goes back to what the game was years ago when you actually scouted a base to go that's what I gotta bring on this base. Or sometimes let's take a picture of the base and post that on your alliance page and say, guys, who has a fleet to break this?
Yeah, let's take it one step further. They told us 2 or 3 weeks ago that there was going to come, or maybe a month ago, I don't remember how long ago it was, they were going to come out with a locker to store built turrets in.
I'm hoping built ship specials as well, but that's my long-term goal. But yeah, that's a start. Built turrets.
But let's think about how that's going to affect. So now you take your fleet, you go to peek at a base, you stare at a base. The guy realizes he's about to be hit. It's breaking into a simulated chess game, because with that locker, you could change your base design with the click of a base before he comes back to hit, and he's facing something different than what he just looked at.
The only thing I'd like to think he wouldn't change is his faction, because it's 150 coins.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, you could have several different layouts set up for different things.
You're right. So it goes back again to somebody from your alliance holding the base under attack until somebody brings a fleet, and then time the entrance well. I mean, to me, it goes back to the way this kind of thing used to be done years ago.
So conceptually, then we got to go back to prior to many people, probably under 3 million base ID levels and that sort of stuff, to go back to the concept of, right, you're the prepper, you're the holder, you're the person that makes sure there's no one going to snipe me around the outside when I jump out, and then go and get that base fleet. Go wake him up. Yeah, go wake him up. I know he's on, get him on the game. He's got the fleet to do this one. Go get him, because we can take this base.
It brings back the thing that I've been talking about for a while, which is more team play amongst the alliance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gets more people involved in an attack instead of just one guy going out and wrecking everybody's base and
everybody just cheerleading for that.
But I really wish it was just the sector and not the alliance. I've got alliance. I've run alliance for a long time, that sort of stuff, and it's a great bunch of mates. But actually, it's still generally all the guys that were in my original sector, or left or right, who I used to hit, and hit me. They used to hit me as well. If we could sack alliances altogether and do something different, I'd be really happy. But hey, not to worry. But that's a different issue altogether. It's probably too late for that now. But I get what you're saying, Rum. I like it and that sort of stuff. Wayne, sorry, going back, you've got the other 2 turrets up now.
Yeah, I've put the other 2 turrets up with the same special on there. You'll see that the figures do drop tremendously by the time it gets to the death scythe, only giving 383 k in damage, which is again halved with siege. So even with it's only 191.5 k. Yes, it's got dots. I've not incorporated the dot damaged on there because it's too hard to calculate within this easy to read spreadsheet. But yeah, you'll see that it's 2.6 million, 1.1 million, and 382k before Siege Battery, with the same special on and the same setup within your base.
I didn't watch the Creed last night or anything, but Heffa should be probably happy with that. He's the guy who's been saying all the time, oh, like damage should go down based on range, should be consistent, blah, blah, blah. This one to me seems extremely consistent.
Yeah, Heffa's in the chat, sidebar chat. I've seen his picture pop up a couple of times. So, I listened to a bit last night as well. I had a bit of time. So, yeah, I agree. As you get closer to the center of it, it should be getting more painful for you. I know other people think that base defense should be based on the turrets supported by the ships that are in there, sort of stuff, as opposed to the ships being the main key thing. Whereas this is why people are chucking Conquerors in the moment, because the base defense is really, really weak. But this may have just helped a little bit and to flip that. They're not massively overpowered, and yes, some of the holes are going to struggle. But the one I suppose is the key takeaway there is the damage type. If you've got a siege battery fitted, then 1.325 is probably going to be all right, because then you're going to be on minimum damage bypass, aren't you? So
yeah,
you'll be up to the
and the standard. And here's the dilemma. I mean, if a turret's actually doing 135 whatever, that means any one of your Conquerors are going to outrange it, right?
Yes.
Because if you want to actually have a chance against the normal range of Conquerors, most of them being 110. Then you gotta use the DTR transformer. If you put the DTR on that turret,
it'll drop it down.
It drops it down by how much?
Huge, look.
Oh wow.
783.
Okay, so now it's not 1.3 million anymore. It's only 700. Now that's a turret most of your ships will not outrange, but now it's only 700.
Which is quite shit, really. Sorry.
It's only a 10.
So my point is, like, either you're gonna plan, if you're building a blitzer, then I need 1.3 million corrosive deflection. But if you're creeping and you see the turrets and you drive well and you stop and you kill them, then you only need 700. I mean, not even that, because then the only one actually firing at you is the 571. Maybe the 700 because they outrange you by 5.
I mean, that one there is that's 10. It's 105, 115. But you still got a couple of tanks that you can, with a bit of extension.
Yeah, but then they don't have firepower. But yeah, if you're spotting for sloths, you're
sloths,
right.
That sort of stuff. So it's giving us a toolbox back in some respects. I like that they've put the worst damage possible on the shortest range turret. I do like that. So you can't just go in blase and blitz, because you could have a real nasty time, but unless you build, a random blitz fleet. So, and if you can, great, fantastic, and well done to you, sort of stuff. So that figure there, if you are going to go to the standard, AT transformer, what did it put it back up to again? What was it? 2 something. I can't imagine no one not going in with siege battery on. So it's going to be 1.322. 1.322, and then so that's Ren's chart. Okay, it's not mine, it's Ren's, but I do use this a lot myself. Okay, particularly to my alliance, explaining certain things. So you'd add this one in. Okay, he's got his damage types there, so that would just drop into that chart. And I always look over to the right hand side and really ignore everything else. But unfortunately, with some of these turrets, the fire support 2 does work, but it will, and it will on some of the other ones. So you just got to place it in the right place. But it's interesting.
But even those turrets, I mean, you look at the blunderbuss on my table there, and I mean, how often do you find the blunderbuss surrounded by 5 fire support? I don't. Not often.
You don't,
right?
Because so throwaway.
You don't really have to worry about the 3.9 million damage you can do more often than not, and you usually worrying about the 1.9.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always look at Howie's. I've said to my guys, if you've got 3.8, 3.9, then it's the Howie 5 covered. You're on minimum bypass. If you're looking at things like, great, Cat Mortar's chart for it. If you've got 115k, you're sorted. Even put it on your buses, you can easily get 115k on your buses, and then people can mort you to death, and then you're just getting minimum, and your buses survive. And so does the rest of your sloths. And those are the sort of things where smart building can and it is like a sort of like collection of interacting pieces. Yeah. The ships now become as you said, a flotilla of almost like specialist guys, and you call which one forward you need, or that fleet comes forward. And if you're the man that preps at the front end, and that's all the radioactive turrets gone, then actually someone can come in with another fleet that's got hardly any radioactive protection against it, but it's got all the other stuff as well. So I like it. I have to say, it's just remembering what we used to do, but nothing wrong with that, I don't think, to be honest. Anyway, right, we've rabbited on. Sorry, a lot. Samuel, you've not had a chance yet. What are your thoughts, mate?
A lot of the discussion around figures and that is taken away from a lot of the players who are maybe not going to have built a lot of this before the refractor, if they do it within a reasonable time period. So a lot of the statistics are only a temporary image for most of us. And I think in terms of this being a catch-up raid and an attempt to push out the rest of the PvP stuff before the refractor, it would have made sense for them to adjust and manipulate the statistics of this new stuff and put it out after the refractor, rather than cause the confusion and have, say, a month or 2 weeks where we have to work this out and then have it changed and potentially have everybody be unhappy about it.
Yeah, that's a valid question. Although turret damage shouldn't, they said our damage and our deflection shouldn't change. Or no, they didn't say that at all. What they said was the impact between the adjustments being rolled out and where we are now should make no difference at all, or little difference. They never said at all, little difference at all. But then again, we all know that the top 5%, of the base capability, base hitting capability is actually gets you the win or the loss. So they've got to be very, very careful what they do, because 5% of, durability, or 5% of, capability in firepower can be the difference between getting in a base and not getting in a base.
Put it in figures, it's probably about top 5% of PvP players are going to have to change their PvP ships, because their ships are so finely tuned at this point that any small change is going to cause a big ripple effect.
And that's part of the reason why I'm getting as many ship build tokens as opposed to turret build tokens as I can. I'm getting the ship build tokens first as opposed to turrets, because I can get the turrets just using base parts.
Yeah, just on the refractor, there's certain turrets which they are outright refusing to even talk about and are ignoring any chat and closing tickets on them. The ECM.
Yeah.
Why do they refuse to talk about the ECM in any aspect relating to the build time, where we have 6.5 tier turret that takes 28 days and a tier 7 turret that takes 8.
The only one I understand is the elite countermeasure. Because that doesn't matter what tier it is, it's a very good item, and you want as many as you can in your base. And in some respects, I can understand why it takes a long time to build, because it makes a huge difference if you get them all up and running. But you're right, Epic Catmore, I just don't get it. I don't know if anybody else does, but I don't understand it.
This was, I think, the last kind of stuff designed by that guy GDA before he left. I think it's some sort of like bad inheritance the other guys have, but nothing prevents them, and it doesn't excuse them from not doing anything to fix it.
It's not that they're just not doing things, it's they flat out refuse to even look near it. They won't even acknowledge that there's an issue with it. They're just ignoring any talk. You could ask them the question, they'll just flat out ignore the fact that you've asked the question. You'll post it in the forums, none of them even look near it. You post it on their live stream, they'll actively ignore anything to do with it. You send a ticket in, the ticket gets closed. Like, anything to do with it, they just want no business with it.
Players first.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost pass them by and then chuck the new. I mean, if you want to just do a bit of splash, because that's what you're basically going to do, you may just put. Although the range is not as good and that sort of stuff, I mean, most people are taking out all bar 1 or 2 of their epic cats anyway. So all that time we spent building the darn things, we've now zipped them out. There's no way I'm going to put one back in. I can tell you that. Once it's out, it's out. I've left a couple of for you know, just because the fact that it did take so long. But yeah, it's almost like some of the earlier turrets that, you know, it's the last one that what was it? Wasn't the cryo turret, was it? What was the one that used to take flipping just as long that everyone kept in forever as well? Was it the cryo turret? Can't remember. But the glacial turret. Yeah, glacial was one of them. It just, you know, I left it in as long as I still actually have it because it just took so long to build.
I think I'm going to take my glacial out now because that cryo adder kind of builds up a similar effect. In a different way, but it has a big slowdown effect if it stacks.
Not for base power, but just because of the fact that you can chuck it on anything. I think it's almost one of my favorite turrets now, or I haven't even built it yet, just because you can plop it anywhere and it won't make a difference. You know, it doesn't need support from anything else, that stuff. And it's just, It is what it says on the tin. You know, it does this. You know, you can just read the blueprint and go, get it. You know.
You miss that, don't you? Like just reading a blueprint and knowing what to do with it?
Yeah. I think everyone does, to be honest. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so we'll see what comes. But yeah, I mean that chart I think has been really, really helpful that Ren put together in one of his videos, and to be honest, like I said, it's definitely helped me explain a lot of things to a lot of my alliance and other players. I've used it in some of my own videos and also to people on the page. So that one where we'll get the bit that obviously that Wayne's added as well, and that's one of the last ones.
Phlogiston 2 now you can get 2 more, eh? So that's the one that's going to change a bit the max radioactive damage and the odds of getting a shockwave.
Yeah, and yeah, so that'd be interesting.
Nobody's talking about it. Everyone's talking about the corrosive turrets, but that guy's there can get 2 more.
Yeah, that's another one of those mid-ranges, isn't it? So we'll have to do a bit of math on that, I'm sure. But that's already built into your calculator, isn't it, Wayne?
Oh, sorry, what is?
If you get 2 more Phlogistons. So the factor of how many turrets you've got, you know, because obviously they interact with each other.
The in-group thing is how many turrets within the group you've got. Obviously, maximum is 8, so I've already set the drop-down menu to 8.
Okay. The Phlogiston 2 is interesting though, because obviously it works off. The best thing about it is, you know, when it's hitting, it's doing virtually nothing. Well, not virtually nothing. It's not doing as much, but it's the shockwave, isn't it? And building the shockwave. You know, if you've managed to get 4 of those together, it's going to make, you know, your chances much better than just having 1 or 2. So, you know, the chance of it actually getting a boom. Not that I've actually ever seen one go boom yet, because some people say it's not working, but
everybody outranges mine.
That's not very helpful.
It never gets a shot off.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, right. Let's move on to something else. Has anybody else got a different topic they want? We just hit the hour. So has anybody got something fresh they want to talk about?
Why is the damage so high in the raid?
Because Kickstarter makes it that way.
The damage
they never like it to be if it is for free, do they?
The damage in this raid you mentioned earlier, Mark. I think you had to refit your ships again.
6th time.
Yeah. It's rather annoying that last raid I put on specific specials which decreased my repairs, but this raid I had to revert back to what I previously had to take less damage. It's rather annoying. And then the second point is one of the specials being, I think it was the one that gives pen defense plus ship and structure deflection.
Yeah, it doesn't do a great deal.
Multiple times with different people, that special, which should do more,
doesn't do anything.
Does a lot worse.
I didn't observe it doing worse. I just saw it doing the same.
Yeah, I see it doing the same. I don't think it's doing worse. I just don't see it doing anything at all that's worth the time, because it wasn't cheap to put on.
I took it back off and I dropped at least 1 coin per target.
Because I've been doing the targets for 1 hour repair each.
My average is about 3 hours for the set at the moment.
Wow,
that's too much. But I can't afford to take them out to actually refit.
Okay, at best, that's me at the moment. Okay, that was at the end of finishing with my my Grease Monkey crew. That's what I managed to get down to just. And obviously, because the way the Grease Monkeys work, and what I found was really, really important is putting the right ships in the right slots. Because the ones with the dark wings on obviously get greater amount of damage because they're not as strong as the ones with the Savage. This is the scatter ones, you know. And if you the ships in slot 5 seem to take more damage. So if you put the ones, you put the stronger ones in there, so the Savage ones go in there, and you put the ones with the Dark Wings in 3 and 4. Actually, you get a far more accurate. You know, you get a far more sort of spread of even damage across the fleet. Or that's how I found it.
And just to be clear, putting the Savage on the corner, that's good for the scattergun ship. For the missile fleet, is the opposite. You want to put the Darkwing, which is more stronger than the Scorpion, on slot 5.
Yeah, and it's weird, isn't it? But it is. It's just, yeah. But that's what I managed to get down to. So the 2 coiner set, literally, that was so I did a couple with, and that was in the preview. I managed to get a set down to 4 coin. But when I was doing that one, and I've only done one, when I managed to get that one down, I absolutely managed to get, because there's only a little bit of damage protection, obviously, on the Grease Monkey crew when you're starting. But as obviously your ships start dying off, they just get stronger and stronger. And you know, I was taking in terms, obviously, because defense stats goes up. I was getting better and better as the ships were dying off.
Yeah,
you know? And which is why I then changed the armor. You know, because I had the penetrative 6 armor in there, which is 0 to repair. But the problem is, it just makes your fleet die really, really quickly. And I got rid of the darn thing. And so I managed to do 4 sets, I think it was, without fixing the ships, which I was much happy with. And I only managed to do 2.5 last raid. So, but I had to refit. You know, fortunately, I did make a point of, and I knew, I guess, that I would have to. But I stocked up as many of those 3-day build tokens and the 1-day tokens as I could get, and I kept some ship tokens from the FM. So didn't actually have to do a great deal with it, but I'm glad I did now, and I'm generally content. So it's not 2 coins every single set. That's not true, but that's what it got down to in the end. You know, and I had done a couple with the Steelhead, which does have corrosive protection.
And I tried yesterday Midnight Marauders. It's actually a very good poor man's replacement for the Grease Monkeys. It doesn't save that, doesn't cut the repair time in half, but the ships also get more powerful as they take damage.
Yeah, and unlike the, no, in fact, I won't talk about that because I don't want to tell Kickside. But anyway, yes. So yeah, that is a good second version. Yeah, we like that one. But that's what I've done with my fleet, and I have actually put that on our page because a couple of people were asking what we've been doing. So I just responded to somebody because somebody had struggled and they had the different resistance on there. They had the combination one that does penetrative and corrosive. But the problem is the stats are so low on it, it doesn't really help you. I don't think.
The special?
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
No, but I think that's what
it helps Skyfires on the current titanium targets, but it doesn't. It's not good for.
It was the guy that won the fleet, mate. That was it. Somebody got a fleet for free. Hadn't logged in for a while. Got an entire fleet for nothing.
So you expect it to be well built?
Well, he also got refit tokens as well.
Yeah, I've seen that multiple times for people who've either gotten a free one or they've bought the ones in the deals, and they're always garbage. Other than the Vanquisher, which wasn't designed by them.
The 3 Skyfires have been okay.
Well, Skyfires are generally okay, no matter sort of what you put on it. It's
they're okay because the flagship's so cheap to repair in the end.
One thing I've noticed as well, I was watching a couple of people, because I'm in an unusual sector that I don't normally come to, so I was watching a few people doing their stuff. There are people still docking their Skyfires and then fixing the whole fleet. You're just wasting money.
It's so dumb.
Don't do it. Just fix the flagship. Go and hit a salve. They'll get back up to 75% health if they aren't already, and then finish fixing the flagship, which will take like an hour and a half, and then just carry on again. You never need to fix the other 4 ships. Just let them stay at 75% health. It's
same
only the
with
flagship.
Buccaneers, same with Hydras if you have the Mercy thingy on the flagship.
Yeah, never fix unless you're done for the night. Then let them fix overnight and that sort of stuff. But if you're alive and you want to do several rounds, that sort of stuff, never fix the whole fleet. You just it costs you like 2.5 times as much money. It's if you are coining a low level fleet like that, then it's a mid level fleet, isn't it? Because low level is the Apollos. But yeah, I saw a couple of guys doing that. I thought, blimmin' heck. Anyway, not to worry. I was going to try and show you where that blooming thing was. Sorry. Anybody else got anything? Ozzy, you got anything new that you want to talk about, buddy?
No, just going back to the turrets with the for extra projectile speed, the best one, if you've got it, is the radioactive isotopes, because that's at 75%, I think it was, where all the others are only like 45%. So it'll get your projectile speed up on those as well.
Okie dokie. I'm just not trusting any other blueprints at the moment, and you know, I'm waiting to see people test some stuff out and go, "Oh, I found this works." Venom, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that's goofed at the moment.
Isotopes on my death side to see if that helps, but obviously I'll wait till somebody hits me. We've got insectors, so it shouldn't be too long.
All right, let us know how it gets on, mate.
Yeah, because it only says projectile speed. It doesn't say projectile speed for penetrative or.
Yeah.
Correct. It's a generic stat.
It's a generic stat that says projectile speed.
Then should be fine. Should.
That's
be
what
fine.
I'm hoping is also as well.
So
Yeah, just like using fuel tank O1X on the scatterguns, because it gives a lot of splash. If you want more splash.
So that's my input anyway to the turret.
No, that's good, and that's a good one because I had no chance
because
even.
Because I was looking at your chart and you had, you know, there was other things you were saying with projectile speed there, and I think they were only like 45, but I'm pretty sure the other one's 75.
I was just trying to find anything that said missile, just to prove a point that, you know,
yeah.
there are several others. Yeah, that wasn't the whole range of blueprints. I was just trying to be pedantic to say that.
Yeah, I know, but you know, the only thing really you didn't really talk about was projectile speed side of it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
only going for everything else, so I thought I'd just throw that in.
That was my perverse version of a whinge, basically. So,
You know,
I'm trying to find this. I'm scrolling down. Jamie, she's there. Yeah. Anything you want to? Yeah. Anything you want to pick up on that you've noticed in the game this week, or?
I was actually a little surprised with them offering 4 more Howies. That kind of shocked me.
Yeah, because we can get rid of the blunderbuss twos, can't we?
Yeah.
Because they're pump. Well, they're not. They're quite decent, but they're short range, aren't they? Whereas the Howies and mid range. So, yeah, I'd rather have 8 Howies, I think, or 6 Howies at least, and then for people that have got really badly built sloths, there are a couple of long range weapons that are quite good fun to put on. But yeah, that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting that to be blanked out for me because I've already got 4, but it wasn't. So that's quite refreshing, I have to say. What did you think about the? I was going to say, what are people thinking now? We've had 2 now, haven't we? So what do you think about this Friday release of information for the next week, the look forward stuff? Are we starting to like this?
It's kind of like a work in progress being back, isn't it?
It's feeling like it, and so far it's been pretty accurate. I mean, I know it's early days. We've only had a couple of them, but and they've even said to us, you know, in this one, I've just read it, and I put it up on most of the pages that I could find, that they've even said that their Friday sort of live stream, which clearly still needs a bit of work, but at least they're doing it, is actually going to be midweek this week for whatever reason. They've actually written it in as well on their Friday update for a week look forward. So, you know, at least they are giving us, you know, some projected notifications of things that are going on. I don't know. Is it working with people? Are they actually taking notice of it? Is anybody actually looking at it, or is it just, I don't know, stunned silence, nothing at all? I don't know. I'm just thinking, if they're saying player first, you know, they don't get any money from that. So if that's player first, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, they get money from, if people know what to plan for, they can plan their time more effectively and be more happy to spend.
Enjoy the game, exactly.
And get 1 billion points.
Almost there.
Jamie, and you got it yet?
Let me see, give me 1 second, I'll look. I'm at 996 million.
We're going to stay on until you get the 1 billion, then you can show it on the screen, right?
Why do people need that much? Why?
What's the point?
Yeah, says the man that's got 1 billion points. Hello?
I don't have 1 billion.
Oh, you're right. It was Vengeful. I'm sorry.
I've only got 170. I think I must be the lowest out of us all.
No, I think I'm worse than us this time round. I've had I've done every other excuse possible, but to log in the game and actually play this raid. I don't know what it is this time, but I'm just like that. Oh yeah, someone needs an answer on the Forsaken Council. I'll just go and answer that question a minute. Oh yeah,
Oh, is that
someone
what
wants
you've
a
been
ship
answering
build.
me all day?
Yeah, that's what I've been bugging you all day. Yeah, anything but actually doing the, I'm like that. Yeah, okay. I even went took the family to the pub meal tonight rather than cooking at home because I thought, well, I'll kill a couple of hours.
And you still messaged me at the pub.
I did. How keen am I? I was waiting for my
You
food.
guys are sounding like an old married couple.
Old, correct? Yeah, married.
Where are you? I'm at the pub. Piss off. But I need you.
Oh dear.
Can you bring bread on your way back home?
No, I'll just grab that from work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm going to break out my grease monkeys tomorrow, so I'm going to get a few more points.
Yeah, I think I'll have to as well.
I've got 2 grease monkeys left in me what you call it, suit somewhere. I think I have anyway. I got 2, so I can break them out, spend a few coins, getting some points. So hopefully I get about 350 mil by the time I've finished with the grease monkeys.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go and prep a load of targets tomorrow for my alliance, that sort of stuff. And then because I only want to get the like I said, the ship build tokens. And unfortunately, I'm not going to say only, but they're considerably less. If its turret build token is 28 days, I'd rather.
I know that's a fortune, isn't it? 28 mil.
So I can get all the ship build tokens I want for basically the same price. So I'll get the ship build tokens. If I've got any time left over or grease monkeys, then I may try to get some, but I'll just do it on base parts. I can do that easy. I can fill up really, really quickly, so I don't care.
When I saw that for the first time, I thought it was
a typo.
Switched around, so it was 28 days of build for 7 mil points.
7 million points.
Yeah, that's a bit of a joke.
Or the typoed and put it should have been 2.8 mil rather than 28 mil.
But that's the kind of price only for the folks who actually like every freaking raid go over 500 million, right? I mean, those folks, and they'll get the tokens. That's fine, but it's by no means a must-have. I think Mark said that earlier on. You waited 3 days when the base part targets are back, and you can grind base part targets and get the tokens done.
You say that, but for some people, it might be easier to do the raid points than do the base part targets.
I can imagine that people who can score that many raid points in this raid were also able to score that many points in the siege raid, so they can do base parts. Just saying.
Well, no, it depends when they came into the game. And if they have
Isn't everyone playing this game for 10 years?
No.
Oh, didn't know that.
But again, if they have the wrong fleet for the base parts, it's a big problem because they still haven't fixed that. Where bucks are still taking ridiculous amount of damage.
That's a whole different conversation, isn't it? I mean, I'm not. Unfortunately, I am unfortunate that I've got Proto Sense and I've also got my Hydras. Hydras, I'm managing to go in auto an awful lot of targets, and the Proto Sense, I'm splitting them up actually and doing the low levels, and I can top up in well within that half an hour window of when all the targets are out there. So.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. I leave my buckies on expeditions every week, and I use the Hydras to get stuff from the map.
Bucky, I should put them on. Yeah, that's a good point. I should do the expeditions.
That's what I do every week. Buckies on expedition, Hydras on map.
I keep forgetting of expeditions even there. It never seems to sort of like sink in that they should be sending stuff off, and I don't know why. But.
It seems that the expedition is just for the bucks and the 103 targets for Hydras.
Maybe they've done it that way. I don't know, which is strange because the 103 doesn't have any walls in it. So you'd think the Bucks would do really well, but they certainly do not.
Note to self: build Hydras.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Proto Centurions actually nowadays. I mean, if you're gonna have to build something, and you have both blueprints, maybe do the Proto Sense first. I don't know. I don't have a fleet of them. I have only 2. And as Mark said, with 2 you can actually do a bunch of low-level base part targets on auto.
You can do a bunch of low-level targets. They still apparently don't do terribly well in the 103.
I'll tell you what it does do. If you're not doing the expeditions, the 67 Bucks will do those for free, easy.
I've been doing 67s with my books
for
about
on the water.
Yeah, that's what Fox and my guys were doing the other day with Bucks, just 67s.
For the love of goodness, please do not auto with Buccaneers and an 82.
No,
It is not worth it.
I did that as well. Big mistake.
I tried that as well.
I thought I'll just go up a 1. Nah, not a good plan.
Yeah,
But you learn quick, don't you?
I did.
It's the flame rings in the sea what causes all the damage in those.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah, that it's all of a sudden that fire pool just absolutely melts you, doesn't it?
It does. It's not a good idea doing 82s.
Say again, Jimmy.
How do I gotta share this?
Share your screen.
Oh,
Yeah, how do I do that?
So
There's
top,
There's a green button on the left with an arrow. That's the share screen button.
All right.
oh, she's got that billion, isn't she?
I bet she has.
Oh dear.
Do
Show
you
off.
guys see it or no?
Nope.
Not yet. No.
Oh god. How the hell?
We're all anticipating.
The little arrow on the left at the top, left-hand side.
I've
Green
got it, I gotta
background,
figure out
white
which one
arrow.
I'm gonna- How to get it from there?
Green box.
Just
You
from
should
outside.
click on it, and then you got the screen comes up, and you
If
just
you
press
don't
share.
see, just move your mouse like to the left side of the screen. Or click on the Hangout screen first, and then move the mouse to the left.
Somebody log in if not.
I don't know. I'm logged into the
Probably
game.
do it from. Is anyone else on the game right now?
Yeah, I'm in the game.
Go on, share your screen, mate.
Where are you? What level are you?
Page 3.
Page 3.
I like how you're at 1 billion points, but you're only on page 3.
That's worrying, isn't it? So number 3. So is that where the billion points is? Oh, there's loads of them. Look now.
Sorry, what was your name? Hang on, where are you?
What's
number
your
are you?
Game name is
Gadget.
Is what?
number 17.
Number 17. Okay, hang on.
Is that you?
1 billion
Yeah.
4,258,000.
Wow. How many more billion people are there? So go to number 4.
Let's have a look for
It's up there. So there's 19 at the moment.
19 people.
And we still got 2 days to go. Well, 2 day and a half to go. Flipping heck. That's nuts. And then
One
when
in
you
my
complain
sector.
and say, oh, there's too many points, Kicks are going to look at this and go, well, they're happy with that.
One in my sector, look, 1.2 million.
Billion.
1.2 billion, yeah.
It's even crazy if you think about that. Billion points. Like, wow.
But you know what? We probably will get this 1 day free generic build token, won't we?
Yeah,
Because
but
we
how
only
many
have-
of them?
We had to have an
Well, you would
average.
think
The
so.
point is, we need to have the number of people. So there's a two-prong attack to that. So we've got to have this above the number of people that played last raid, and then we've also got to have on average then of the players that are playing this one over 100k each.
It still really concerns me that it was such a low value for the average.
But, well, I think they're setting the bar low, because if they do this again next month, then it's going to be more than the number of players for this month, and then another figure again. So, you can see where this is going to go, can't you?
But
Yeah, in the end, for me, it's just I'm looking at that as something for nothing. Because I'm doing my raid anyways.
does it not concern you guys that they said the average points gained for the last raid was only, 70k? That's the average.
But a lot of people just log on, do nothing. They just log on, hit a
That's not
target, because then they go, wow, do you know what? If everyone's given something, like, let's just think of a certain turret that was given out.
Every time I plotted those targets about raid points and whatnot, I mean, you see there is like a massive, almost like a cliff drop from the top 2,000. After that, it's like a massive cliff going down to people scoring 1 million points or less. And then it flats out, right? It's a flat out curve of people doing 1 million, 500,000, 100K and less. It's really, really, I mean, despite when we say, oh, 30,000 people did raid. 30,000 people touched something in the raid, but people who actually got the top prizes, we're talking about a universe here of no more than 5,000 players who are competitive.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Yeah.
And by competitive, I mean get stuff as soon as it's released. That's what I mean by competitive. Right? People who got the Manticore when it first came out at twice the price, that kind of thing, Such a small group of players.
Which is what we're going to be talking about this time next month, isn't it? Because obviously we'll be talking about the new skirmisher hull.
What's bad? Something bad? Crazy bad?
The Batmobile, I call it. I don't know what its proper name is, but hey.
Bat Ray.
Bat Ray, that's
That's
it.
right, yeah. I wonder if it's going to look like the old Stingray at all.
I was wondering the same thing, yeah.
Bad
A new damage type. Lasers.
Lasers. pew pew.
We get the real pew pew sound.
That was Doom Rooster, wasn't it?
We're gonna have Tesla coils on the ship next.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be don't do that.
They had that on Backyard Monsters, laser turrets and Tesla coil turrets. That's what I'm saying. They already have the code for that somewhere.
Oh man, that's yeah, overlapping, but yeah. No, it'd be good. So this time next month, literally, we'll be talking about that exact same thing. Now we'll be complaining about how expensive the hull is and how we can't get it, and the preview of this and that, and you can see what it's going to be. It'd be amusing. And then are we? Is it a subwater hull or is it a surface hull? Because the fact is that they're taking it as a bat ray. That's a fish. Fish means it's under the water, but then obviously maybe this is a skimmer. I don't know.
It'd probably be one hull, and you decide which CIC to put it on, and one will go underwater and one will go above water.
That I'd love.
So it depends on which CIC it would be.
If the skill hull is then making it go under the water, so you can go around and get the targets, that sort of stuff, and if you want to go and blitz, I've sort of gone away from the word auto because I think they're taking the mickey out of us. So, but if you want to go for the blitz effect, then it's skating along the top of the surface and yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good idea though. Just changing the CIC to make it a submarine or not. So.
Yeah, it'd be good. I'd like that.
We know which one Liam's speaking.
Oh, it's got to be the sub.
It's got to be the
just
sub.
for the shits and giggles.
Well, I logged into my alt account for the first time in forever.
What did you get?
I got a fleet of Manticores.
No,
I got a fleet of
lot of people are getting a free, fully built fleet of Manticores. Does it have the flagship though?
No.
Oh, it does not.
Well, 5 regular Manticores, scatter guns or missiles. Scatters.
Interesting.
And mix the Darkwing CIC or all Savage.
I didn't look at that closely, and I'm now running the other campaign because I also got a
never
fleet of
mind.
icebreakers.
Just curious.
My out got a fleet of Manticores this morning as well with loads of tokens. All my reds topped all up. But the problem is my dock isn't good enough and only can launch 3 at a time.
Yeah, mine
So
was
I've got
only
fleet of them.
4, and I'm going, wait, no.
Yeah.
So you can do one at a time and send it out for the tier 5 one. Yeah.
So what you're
But-
saying is we should just create an alt that has the top level dock, wait a few months, get a free hull,
And then switch
and
account
then-
for a couple of months.
then do a raid for cheaper than actually building the full fleet.
Well, I've got 3 mil on there this afternoon whilst I'm waiting for repairs on my main account, and I used 2 of them, got damaged, and then put the other 2 in what I couldn't launch, and then just hit a few more, and so I got up to 3 mil doing a few sets of the 60s.
Oh right, okay.
So I'm up to 3 mil, so that's not bad for a level 45.
No, not bad at all.
But the problem was, is I can't launch the whole fleet, which is a pain in the pain, and the fact that I've got no res, at least that way it's picking up res for me because it's a lot bigger than battle barges picking up res.
Is there counters on each one of the ships, or they put one just a couple?
Or
There's counters on each one, I think.
So you could probably go and hit a 41, couldn't you? Probably with 1 ship or maybe 2. I know it's very low score, but
yeah, it's 3 mil for a level 45. Problem was I got
they put
promoted
switchblades
4
on.
levels.
so you can go and get the next 2 mil. You can
You
go
went
and get
up
that
how
new
many
ship.
levels? Sorry, you said you went up some levels?
Yeah, it must. Yeah, I saw that the guy in the game that won him on our page. He said he got the set of tokens and he got the ships, but that put him up 2 levels in the game
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
just by owning them.
I think it went up 4 levels. I did by the time I collected that, and then built a higher OP and a higher dock with the res what they gave me, and the base parts they gave me, and I managed to get 3. But by doing that, I say I went up 4 levels.
Wow, you'll be an 80 by tomorrow.
And the only reason you can actually launch 2 is because they increase dock weights, right? On lower level sizes.
Yeah, that was done
Otherwise,
last month.
probably wouldn't
Last
even
week.
be able to launch 2. It would be ridiculous at level 45 with the fleet of Manticores.
So 11:45, you can go and get one of these new PvP holes and go.
Yeah,
and have
but
some-
I mean, an active player won't get it. A new player won't get it. It's just for like an abandoned account.
Hmm. Yeah, I must admit, I got the Skyfires, which have been good fun. I have to say, not that I use the account, but
I'm just logging into me out now to have a look at the build for you.
yeah, it'd be worth a quick share.
Yeah, share the screen if you don't mind.
Yeah, share it if you could. That'd be quite good.
Yeah, 1 minute. I just.
I'd be intrigued. I like Jamie's picture. Change the subject because the picture of that cat actually reminds me of the state you'd be in trying to get 1 billion points.
Oh, that's my cat that just passed away. So
Oh, bless.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
All right.
it happened.
Well,
I mean,
it's
no-
not less sad because of that. So
I'm sharing the screen.
Oh,
Okay.
look at that base. Is that Howie Six is in there, you hacker? Venom, go report him.
That is Howie 2's.
Woo. You don't have to prove it, mate. I believe you. Don't worry.
No, he has to prove. Of course he does.
Oh,
What do you mean he doesn't?
There's
You've
the
got right
build.
armors. So you've been given the engine.
Yeah, I've been given all the blueprints that will go with it.
So that's
That's
a savage
awesome.
CIC. That's good, isn't it? Switchblade. You got given Switchblade as well.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If you want these guys to last a lot longer, you just replace that resistance special with RA3 if you can.
Yeah, just put RA3 on them. And what siege battery is that? Is that siege battery or is that com?
He might
Yes,
not be able
assault
to change it.
battery.
He might not be able to change it. Put it in your dock, sec. In your
Yeah, that's true. You might not be able to change
Yeah,
it.
but look, you won't be able to. It'll be overweight,
You probably can't do nothing.
Oh, the ship will be overweight, eh?
and it won't let you change anything.
No,
if you do-
refit, not brand new build, just refit that one.
Yeah,
It
just
won't let you refit. No, yeah,
it's too heavy.
no. Put your ship. Go back to your ship.
In the dock.
Yeah, click refit.
He's not gonna be able to do it. I bet you.
Oh, it's underway.
It's underway.
You are just in your. You are lucky.
Oh yeah.
So you can put
No.
RA3 on that, and it'd make it a hell of a better ship. If you've,
If you had it.
have you done RA3 already? Take that, that
Uh,
one there, yeah.
Let's have a look, see if I've got RA3.
RA3 is researchable, so you should have.
So yeah, you've got it there.
Yeah, I've got it, yeah.
It's not retrofit. Oh, yeah, it is. No, it's not. It's not.
Oh,
So you got
RA3,
66%.
sorry.
Looks
So it might not be good then.
66. And what's the other one? Just glance over the other one again. What's the?
Sorry.
55, I think.
It probably won't be worth it then if you haven't. Yeah,
Put it over.
45. Yeah, yeah. Well, it would be, I suppose, but because you've got the armor there to do the rest of it for you.
And I've got the blueprints what go with it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? To be
That
honest?
is very, yeah, I mean, that's a major, huge buff for an account like that.
Particularly having an engine that lets your ships actually get somewhere in this game, because old combat speeds of 16 and 17 is just like, eek.
Yeah. No, the other thing that kills you, you only get with R&D is the map speed. I mean, have you seen people who haven't done R&D and are still stuck in the old map speeds?
Well, I've got to say, the Crusaders with engine 3 on.
What's the
There's
combat
a-
speed of that now? Just remind me. Go down to the combat speed, and let's have a look. What do we used to drive around at? 28.
28.
And that's quite quick.
And Crusaders are fast.
Yeah, they were quick back then.
Yeah.
I remember having some HHs that were like combat speed, sort of like 14, 15.
I built.
You know, when I was so bored with the game back then, I was looking for any reason at all to upgrade the speed.
Yeah, with whatever you could.
I bet
Anything.
you used that river engine that cut range in half, Rum.
No, I didn't.
I
I wasn't that
like-
dumb.
I tried that, and I tried Ripper cannons, and they couldn't fire through the walls far enough to hit a turret.
Exactly.
They cut because they were short range, weren't they? 45 or something like that. Even with
Yeah.
hardened barrels, I still didn't have enough to get through and actually hit a turret.
What I did do is I used the Reaver Scout engine one time to try to use it as some kind of a
Detonation bomb.
spotter. And exactly, you go in there, you go, wait, nothing's firing. What the hell? You
A
couldn't
long
get
time
to it.
ago, somebody had one of those Hell Strikes with Piranha Death Chargers and the River engine, so the range was like 9. And they would just blitz through the channel to kill the ships without bubbling the base. And that actually worked sometimes.
I might have tried that once or twice.
I have done
Right? Remember that?
Yeah, of course I do. Because that was the thing. You had to kill the boats in order to get to the base.
Yep.
with no fleet in there is
You just
dead.
decide a couple of those, and boom.
Yeah, you got to laugh. Things like that are always funny, though, aren't they?
I still have a Predator sub.
You still kept a Pred?
Like the original researchable one.
Blimey.
I can show you in a minute, but it's. I remembered it being a lot bigger than it actually is. It is tiny.
It's tiny now, eh?
Yeah, it's. You have to zoom in to actually see it.
Well, because back in the day, I think we all used to play zoomed in because the targets were small, the field was small, and I remember doing FDF or killing salvages. That's and even bases, everything zoomed in.
It got really big when we started doing the ice worlds. That's when it started getting massive.
Yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah,
don't remember them.
If you do the old campaigns, if you still have any of them available, you'll see the map size. Like the current maps you're having to scroll across, these ones are like half your screen.
Yeah.
Well, they also fitted for the old square screens, weren't they, as well? They were designed for them, not for widescreen.
I was doing the Snowfall campaign for some res this morning. I forgot how small that map screen is.
Oh, talking
Mark,
about map screens. Yeah,
Play
talking
on
about,
the TV, don't you? A big screen.
no, I've got two. I've got sort of like a wrap round of screens here, so they're all 27-inch ones.
Anybody else play on a big screen?
No, I play on my
big
laptop.
No.
No, 22-inch monitor, widescreen, but 22 inches.
I'm playing on basically my TV. I've got a 55-inch TCL.
Fancy.
And when they did the upgrade for the, I forget what it's called, the hardware acceleration.
Yeah.
They changed the map to where now I have so many blank spots that I actually have water, but I can't click on them. So it makes it difficult in doing base hits because they have so much area around the base.
Because they filled it in, didn't they? Yes. I'm finding that in these targets.
You had
Because I've
that
got
in the
dead
preview,
spots.
didn't you?
Yeah, in the preview.
Mark?
Yeah, I was finding dead spots on the left and right of flank. It was filled in.
Well, when the
I
raid
couldn't go there.
started, day one, we had dead spots.
Yeah, I can't get into the areas, And the problem is then you're going to the edge thinking, oh yeah, I can run away and I can kite around the top of this one. And then all of a sudden it charges you down because you can't actually get there.
Then they go like, no, you can't.
Well, you think you're going to be able to outrange a turret to where it can't hit you or it can't fire at you, and then you're stuck. So basically, if you're stuck in the wrong place, you could lose a fleet or lose 3 sloths, whatever you're hitting with.
Yeah, it's annoying.
What's really annoying to me, and I don't know if we had that little bitching session already, it's after you kill the turret carriers, but the turret spots are still on water. You click on the wrong place, your ship doesn't move. It selects a dead turret.
Yeah.
There's currently
Like, really?
currently there's like little smoke piles that come up now. I don't know.
I've turned acceleration off again at the moment.
I turned acceleration off.
Yeah, I've been playing with off since Bounty.
But there are little stacks that you can see, so you know where it's died. So around that approximate area, because they travel slow enough, you know there's
I
going
don't
to
see
be a
it.
dead
I
area.
have that turned on, so I don't see the stack of the smoke.
I haven't got it turned on either. I've turned it off. You might have smoke turned off, building smoke, because it's a building.
Probably.
I've got
But the
everything
thing
turned
moves.
off.
It moves, so you know where it's been. So you can give the approximate area, but because the thing continues to move, it still thinks the turrets are moving.
No, and I appreciate the workaround, but the reality is like I shouldn't need a workaround. You know what I mean? The turret's dead, the ship's dead, or that ship. You don't click where it sank. If you click in there, you don't select the dead ship, right?
Fair point. Fair point.
Yep.
I just would like it to work.
Yeah.
Like many things.
I don't think you guys are ready for this.
What?
You're done.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, got you. Got you locked
Did you
on.
lock his screen for everyone, Jason?
Yeah, he's locked on. He's going for Preds, look. What size target is that? Because that was
Oh
going to
my
take
God.
forever. That's going to take... Look at the size of that little thing.
Now zoom in, otherwise you can see them. Oh, there you go.
Look, it's oh, bless it.
Tiny
It's smaller than
turds.
the gunboat.
What's funny is it's got a delirium torpedo on.
Oh,
But look how slow it
it
is.
fit.
This should be fast.
I remember prepping out flipping 51s with these things and killing them off. And
Yeah.
that was the res. That was it.
Yeah, That was a dream. Get to the point where you could kill 51s with Preds.
Yeah, and you have to. Oh man, you have to be a good driver though. Nipping in, nipping out.
Yeah, that's how I learned to drive subs.
Yeah,
Exactly. That was
obviously Wayne. Liam never collected res. He couldn't have done. He must have just coined it all.
Is Liam even still playing?
I haven't seen him in a few weeks, but he's got his son up at the moment. So
No, I saw him on comms the other day, like 3 days ago, I guess.
Yeah, I had a chat to him midweek, but his lad's up for summer holiday at the moment, so he doesn't get to see him very often. So, oh no, you know, oh no, oh yes. This is like going back,
you
6
know,
years.
rolling like it's 2011 there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you're lucky it's half repair.
Yeah, man, you'd be going all night otherwise.
You'd think this would be instant repair to fix, but no, it's like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, it used to be instant repair. They made it longer because people were just like coming back non-stop. There was no cost for using the subs. So in open water battles, people would be losing Leviathans and floating fortresses to these little pesky subs. And they'd always be instant repair. So I remember back in the day, that's why after tons of players complaining of people terrorizing the water with these
Preds.
subs.
Yeah, killer Preds.
Yeah, they just increase the repair time so for all subs. So, you know, there would be a cost of losing the subs.
I love the way a Predator sub is just outranged a Draconian ship. It's brilliant.
Did anyone see that?
But also, back in the day, you didn't have to fully repair them.
Oh,
Any
yes, of
subs.
course. Yeah,
You can work around the zombie subs, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah, you could just zombie them, yeah.
I used to love my zombies.
Zombie
Zombie
specs were the
coolers.
worst. Remember, zombie specs, people terrorize the water.
Yeah.
With zombie
I said
specs.
zombie
They terrorize
coolers.
the whole sector with zombie specs.
Yeah.
I used to like it when you can use a decoy sub, and they all target your sub, and then you can just pick off all your targets while it's all targeting your spectre or something.
Used to be good fun.
Man, I love the specs.
I used to play with a pirate like back in the day. She was on my group. Her game name was Jones, and she would terrorize entire sectors with zombie spectrums and just like paralyze everyone. Everybody would be scared of launching fleets, and she would just have she had 2 or 3 fleets, I think, with just zombie specs around.
When I was at a big alliance, and I mean, before I sort of like paused the game for a while, about 5 years ago, and he's still in my alliance now. I had a guy, and all he had was submarines. He had nothing else. He had 3 fleets of submarines, and he was a freaking nightmare. He would just get around and absolutely snipe everything possible. And you know, and he was the man. If you were like trying to do a base hit, and they come and block, he'd get them every single flipping time. Every time he was like that. Yep, got him, and yeah, it was hysterically funny, you know. But and he was always just zombie subs. That's all
And
he
I
had.
bet everybody hated the guy because I remember everybody who was not in our group hated Jones.
He was always
they didn't
flat.
care about me because I sank their bases or whatever. They hated Jones because she was sinking their fleets.
He was always flat, but he never cared. It was just hysterical.
Yeah.
Swax is his name, and he was just like constantly snipe. He went, I'm going over here tonight, and I'm going to kill everything. I was like, oh no, don't do that.
As long as he enjoyed himself.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was mental, funny as hell. But yeah, I mean, that's a bit frowned on these days because flipping shore fleets take so long to flipping repair, don't they? But there's a fix apparently coming, so we'll see what it is.
Is there one?
Well, I think, they did hint at one. They did say they were going to work on something. It was on one of their Friday video thingies they did. So I think the simple thing, as someone said, was have a chore slot.
I'll believe when I see it because previously they hinted they were going to update Cruise as well, and that went well.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I just think there should just be a chore slot, and then once it's in that slot, then subs can't touch it. But
I think PvP should not be able to touch PvE to start.
Yeah, that's for starters, but because obviously it's an unfair battle in some respects. But
so completely.
Mind you, then again, if you're going to get flattened about 16 times, you haven't got any PvP. I suppose it's the only way you can fight back. So there is the
Then do the fucking PvP. Sorry, shouldn't have sworn.
No, I get it, but some people don't join the game. You know, that's a whole different show. Let's not do that one now.
Okay.
Because that is it's already an hour and 3/4. So you know, a lot of people, as we said when we did the PvE versus PvP last week, a lot of people just don't play this game for PvP at all. Because they never did. They came in, they had all these targets to hit, and actually, to them,
That's the game.
That is the game. It's the game. That's it. And PvP is a sideline that's just an annoyance. Someone comes and flattens your base. You sit in your bubble, and what difference does it make? Because it can't. They ain't stopping you doing anything. You already got a 4-hour wait, and you can crack on. So, right or wrong, not for me to comment. But
I had one of those guys shouting at me during bounty for stealing my bounty and actually hitting a base, and I was told that bounty was not for base hitting.
Right.
Wow.
I'm sorry. What?
Are we in the same game at all?
Opted into bounty though.
What?
Had he opted into bounty?
Yeah.
Then what the hell is it for?
They treat bounty as a fully PvE event. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah. He was basically saying, no, you shouldn't be hitting bases as a PvE event.
During bounty, because it's an event.
Read the bounty brief notes. It actually says it is. I mean, every time we do it, we literally have a joke, Robin and I. The first slide we come up with, and it's bounty season X, Y, and Z. This is where large people go and smash small people and steal the bounty. We say it every time because it's basically what happens.
They were like level 110 plus.
The other thing that's funny, you guys haven't even mentioned that they talked about being able to launch fleets from the map now.
Like War Commander, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that was in the briefing yesterday.
They've been testing changes to the UI so you can do basic fleet management from the map.
Yeah.
Docking
no
and
more,
launching.
No more base loading, no more world map loading, nothing.
That'll make life so much nicer.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where half the problems are, aren't they? The spinning screens. That'd be brilliant. That's going to make a huge transformation. I mean, the good thing is someone's hitting your base, and hopefully you can launch a fleet while they're actually doing it, and then you can snipe them outside.
It's not so much that. It's more you can launch a fleet, and it doesn't depend on your loading time whether or not you get sniped.
Yeah, because obviously you can launch it, and then hopefully you'll be outside the base, and then you can just keep right-clicking, and then it'll just move. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see how it happens. It's been in War Commander for a long time, so let's see. There's no reason they have a code for it because they've done it in another game of theirs. So let's hope that's the case. And maybe that's what Wrong Thinker's been. Maybe he knows how to do it because that's where he was, wasn't he, for a while? So I don't know.
Yeah, they're bound to break something else.
They're
going to break something else.
No way! You don't.
Come on.
You don't get a win-win situation in this game ever.
No.
What do you think it is?
You'll get a win, and then you'll get one win, and they'll break 3 or 4 other things.
I've never known a day yet. I'm looking at the TFC is nearly 3 years old, and I've been on lots of Facebook pages. I've never known a day yet when someone hasn't complained about something.
Jesus, what do you mean TFC is 3 years old? Are we 3 years old? Are you serious?
I think yeah, we're getting there, mate. We're getting there.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we were 2 years old. Okay.
Well, we're on season 3, so we're in the middle of it. But we're getting towards the end, mate. We're getting towards the end.
Jeez, I've been doing that for a long time.
I know.
Now I wonder what they're going to end up doing with the bounty.
Oof.
Under level 80s. Are they going to be able to participate?
Oh, that's a good point. I was going to highlight that.
They will. They should be able to. They'll just have
it's just because before the mechanics, people below 50 could not join, right?
You know what I'd love? For them to make the PvE part of that strictly for people under level 80.
Oh.
Yeah, that could work.
Uh-huh.
The players' bases or whatever you want to call them, the NPCs.
Your opponents?
Make that strictly for the level 80s and under.
Well, the thing is that they did the only ones really getting the big points because we're going to touch each other.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That run, they got to change the whole banking system.
Yeah, everything have to change.
They have to change the banking system already.
Can you imagine if they did that and made it to where everybody above level 8 or above level 80, the only way to get points was actually hit real bases? Make it a true PvE.
A lot of people wouldn't do bounty though. They wouldn't do it.
You'd be seeing level 80s with better equipment than level 110s.
Yes.
That's okay. That would make them get busy and do something instead of quit being bench pirates.
Let's not do that. The point is, I mean, look, we've had this PvP, PvE thing. We've had I want the game to be this and that sort of stuff. With the so many thousands of people that are there's only a few thousand left in the game, but there's a few thousand that's still, you can't please all the people all the time. It's just not freaking possible. So I don't give a shit what Ren wants. I don't give a shit what Rum wants. I don't care what Venom wants. I don't care what I want. I just want an enjoyable experience. And for people to still play the game. That's it. How they do it, that's them to sort out. I'm not here to fix their game. Do it your freaking selves. But if it's not fun, then you'll continue to have people logging off. It's as simple as that. You can't make the game for me, all right? Because Venom's not going to like it, potentially. Or Jamie there's not going to like it, okay? And I can't make it for what Ren wants, because I might not like it and Ren might not like it. But you've got to have something right for everybody where you're generally happy with what's going on in the game. You don't like all of it, you're bound freaking not to. I never used to like people sniping me and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I had one of my own guys on my own alliance, that's all he ever did. And I used to get really chopsy at people that used to snipe me. I used to flatten the shit out of them and the whole of their sector. But that's the game, so you can't have everything you want. And the problem is people want that this day and age. People want the game their way, and you can't have it.
I just like things to be as they describe them.
I don't like you anymore.
Sorry, mate. But it's a fact. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't. You can't have your game because it's everyone's game.
That's the most difficult thing for Kish to do, is to keep the game level or interesting for a level 130
I agree.
or a level 50.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, they're stuck in the middle with no way to win.
And there's a level 130 who does PvP and the level 130 who doesn't.
Yeah, and there you go. I've even dabbled. I've had plenty of time at the moment, and I've dabbled a little bit in PvP and that sort of stuff. I've hit a few bases, and I've gone, yeah, that's dull. And I don't know why, because I used to love doing it, and I find it really boring now. Because once you're in, aren't you? And you go, well, I'm not going to hit him again because I've done it. For me, it doesn't have an attraction anymore.
Well, to me, it's because the game has lost its key element. I mean, half of its key element. And a lot of people don't agree with me, but the key element was that it was a pirate game where you were stealing stuff.
And you don't get to do that anymore.
Well, you don't
People
need to
don't do that anymore. And whenever I mention that uranium, titanium, and parts should all be stealable, so if I am a base hitter, I can get everything I need to progress in the game without hitting one map target, people go apeshit on me because they don't want anybody stealing their titanium and whatever.
Well, I can tell you now, right? I used to go into a sector and basically dump into the sea everybody's res from that sector.
Yeah.
And I just do it all night long because I want to stay ahead of everybody else. And I would spend, 200 coins.
So you were being a pirate.
He was keeping them down, yes.
Yeah. I was keeping the whole sector down. I'd go next door or a couple of sectors. You only go a couple and that sort of stuff. And I would smash the lot and just keep doing it. And I'd get my guys across and snipe them and that sort of stuff. And we'd kill off a whole sector. And they couldn't do anything. They had nothing left in their bases. They couldn't even fix their fleets. They couldn't launch. They couldn't do anything. That's aggressive pirating and that sort of stuff.
It's interdiction. I mean, that's part of the game. It's part of the strategy, keeping the other people down.
But you can get everything you need elsewhere now, and actually base hitting. Apart from that medal system, which I think is still the cleverest thing Kix I put in, something that's worth nothing, which some people think is worth everything. What a clever thing that is!
All it is bragging rights.
It's an ego stick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, Ren just created a thought in my mind, which is dangerous to begin with.
Wow, the fact I could put a thought in your mind or help you create one.
That when you hit a base, think about this, Ren. When you hit a base, you don't get anything, right? So we're talking about helping lower levels get something better. What happens if you create a way to hit a base and then you get to take a blueprint that you don't have? You don't get to take it away from them, but you get to add to what you have by hitting a bigger base. Say 10 levels higher, 15 levels higher, whatever.
Hey, I'm happy with that. I think, all my point is, and I've driven that point with Kixai, and I don't have broad support in the player base for that, is base hitting should help me progress my game.
Sure, it should.
What if?
But no, wait.
I don't think it's there is a camp of players who think it's only for bragging rights, and okay, I'm not taking bragging rights away from anyone. I'm just saying, if I'm spending time hitting bases, because I only have a limited amount of time to play, if I have to do the TLCs and I have to do the map targets because there's no other way I get titanium and uranium, my time to play in the evening after work, it's over most nights. And if I'm lucky, I get to find and hit the base. If I'm lucky, I'm usually with TLCs and everything there. My hour to play is gone.
Well, it's gonna incentivize the lower to mid level players to go out and hit bases that are better than they are, so they have a chance to get better technology for their base. Now, I'm not saying you can go out and hit 150 bases and build something completely new faster than anybody else. So you got to find a way to limit it to where they can get 1 blueprint a day, 2 blueprints a day, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that was a random blueprint drop on the water, wasn't it, for hitting res, wasn't it?
At one point, yes.
That's how it worked.
Something like 5 wins, and you pick a blueprint from a menu. You know.
Yeah.
How about this? Once a day, you flatten the base, you get, say, half an hour off of build time. The same way if you get
there's something, yeah, there's something.
If you get hit, your shipyard's going to be down until you come in and repair it. So you're losing time. So why not make up time if you flatten someone?
To me, all good ideas. You know, as long as base hitting is worth something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It isn't anymore.
And I'm not saying let me take titanium from other people. I'm just saying, hey, whenever I win a base hit, give me 10,000 titanium. If it's a base over whatever level, give me 5,000. Give me some titanium, so now I don't have to go hit those targets. Give me some uranium, so now I don't have to go hit those targets.
I mean, yeah, we're coming up to the 2-hour point, but I would like to say I think the bounty thing that I like about bounty is the fact that you've got 2 repair queues, and I think that should stay 24/7 all the way through the game. I think you would get far more people dabbling into back into the PvP area, because so many people don't have the time literally to go, oh, right, I can't do that because that means I've got 2 things fixing. And I don't want 2 things fixing because that triggers people's OCD. They want to use a fleet, to kill a fleet, and then to go and let it fix.
I got one.
If you could fix something and then all of a sudden go, right, that's fixing. Oh, I've got half an hour. Well, let's go and do something else. Right, what is that thing I've got to do? Oh, I've got another dock and I can fix this PvP fleet.
That's how
I've got an idea.
Go on, mate.
All right. I'm not in an alley at the moment, but with normal World War wars, in wars, real life, okay, you got allies, right? If your ship gets damaged, and France, they're an ally to England, we'll say, well, they are, right? Well, obviously they are, because across the frigging river, ocean, you know what I mean?
It's a river to you.
Yeah, it's a river to us, yeah. Anyway, so they've got a dock, right, not being used. So you can get your warship and you put it in their dock and get repaired. Right? So, okay, so you've got an ally in your alley. Someone else isn't using their dock. They're all fully repaired. Your dock's being used to repair something. You can put your ship in their dock and get it repaired.
Now, this would be extremely exploitable with people creating out accounts.
Yep.
You're probably best off. We've already got the blueprint for at the moment where you get ally points that works towards a percentage off something. So you could have, say, 5% faster repair time, 5% faster build time, because you've already got turret defense and stuff like that.
Yeah, change, because one of the obviously if you get your faction stuff up and that stuff, you get enough ally points. One of them is like, there's a couple of them there that don't actually, they're a waste of time. They're pointless. Change it to something else. Yeah, the navigator one and that sort of stuff. Yeah,
and the scavengers.
Yeah, that doesn't really serve any purpose to anybody. So yeah, maybe they could just change a couple of those. So hitting bases does become something worthwhile. I don't know. But I do think in some things, that thing there, I think, if your alliance points are up really, really high, to get yourself back up to the top of the chart again, I think it should be harder so if a small alliance has only got a few players, they could get to the top of the chart easier. So if you've got like 100 members, it's done pro rata rather than just like, right, there's 10 people in this one, there's 10 in that one, there's 10 in that one. I would prefer it if it was pro rata. So then if there's an alliance that's only got 5 or 6 members, they have the opportunity to, because otherwise everyone's just going to be in 3 or 4 massive alliances, which doesn't really, encourage that many alliances to actually exist.
So
That's
just go by percentage of players in an alliance. So
yeah, like a percentage or something like that. Yeah, so it's a ratio, isn't it? So you know, if it takes 1/10 of the number of players to hit so many bases, and then that faction is up, and you've got your 20% turret reload or whatever it is, and that sort of stuff. I don't know, but if you've got 100 people, then obviously it's still a percentage again. So that would work if it was a percentage based thing, I think.
Yep.
It wouldn't discredit against small alliances and that sort of stuff, and new alliances forming because they can do it. A single person in an alliance could almost do the same sort of thing, Well, anyway, right, okay, we've hit the 2-hour point on the head. And anything for anybody else to finish off? You got anything you want to close with, mate?
No, I'm all good. Just still doing the raid.
Good.
Nearly
Bonkers.
done.
We got
I'm
two
nearly
bonkers
done.
people at the start. We got Aussie at 1, and Jamie, you're just as bad.
Well, I'm in 15th place now.
why are you
Check,
still going?
check you. What are you
Point of this.
getting? I
What
think you're
could you
mental.
possibly redeem?
I'm
I
still
only need
getting
another
tokens.
105 million.
No, listen to her. She's still getting tokens, guys. That's how crazy the prize list is.
What?
She's still getting tokens.
I'm still getting tokens.
For what though?
For everything.
Well,
Everything,
just add up the price for all turret tokens, guys.
Just
do
double
that.
check. I literally,
That's
Jamie,
112.
the cost of getting the
112 each.
28 million points, just make sure that's the same cost as if you're going out and getting your base parts just by sending out your hydras and just getting the bits. Because that's why I've looked at it and I went, it's not cost effective. I can actually wait,
See,
It's half a billion. It's half a billion points just for the turret tokens, guys.
it's cheaper for
Yeah.
you to.
I see that that's in my rear vision mirror. That's way back. I passed that yesterday.
It's cheaper to redeem the base parts for 7 days than it is for the actual 7-day token.
Well, I was actually doing that. I used all my base parts, and then I was collecting base parts, and then a token, and then base parts and a token. Because it might only be like a day or two extra on top of the 7-day token.
Yeah.
You collect the base parts to add up that little bit to make up the extra. So you calculate, say it's a 10-day build, you go, okay, I need 3 days worth of base parts, and I can use a 7-day token. That's how I was doing it.
Yeah. Well, then you can. I mean, that's when you do smart building, isn't it? You just build enough, so you use up the token, then you go and collect some more base parts, and then you
what I was
take all the
doing.
bits off and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going into the base, refitting the turret, going, okay, it's 10 days, 6 hours, and 34 minutes. So then I'd work it out, and I go, right, I need X amount of base parts because I was 0. I went to 0 on the base parts, so I knew exactly how many I needed. I go, right, I need this. Okay, 4 days, blah, 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 worth of
14.
worth of base parts. So I'd collect that, refit it. So that's the 4 days worth of base parts gone. And then I'd use the 7-day token to finish it off.
Just on refitting, if anyone has any extra tokens from building the Catmorts, the Vultures, and anything else where we had really cheap 7-day tokens,
You can change it.
you can refit the specials before changing the turret.
Special transformer armors. Yep.
So just use up that token, and then all you need to do is refit the turret. You don't have to refit anything else.
Just the turret, yeah.
Yeah.
Radio.
I do that with base parts usually as well too. Change bits and pieces at a time, so then you can do your turret in one go.
Yeah, I burn
Your
stuff off
weapon,
just for the fun of burning stuff off because they end up with lots of base parts and I don't know what to do with them. So change things for the sake of changing things. Hey ho, radio. Ren, anything you want to close with, mate?
No, that was a bloody long show, but it was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
Right?
Went down some country lanes, but we were generally sort of like I think ended up.
Hey, as long as you enjoyed the view, buddy.
Yeah, usually your guys' show is when I'm at work.
Alrighty.
So I'm not able to get on. I have to watch it later.
Yeah, it's the same as me. When your show starts at 5 a.m. my time. Well, I got up yesterday at 6 or 7 o'clock I haven't been to bed yet, and it's now 7 o'clock. That's 24 hours ago.
Yeah,
stayed
it's
up.
just the hard compromise. It's the hard compromise between having people on the West Coast and in Europe. You know, like
Yeah,
it's-
that's why we sort of.
I think it's early morning for Australian people when we do the show. It's kind of crazy, right?
It's a catch-22 scenario, isn't it?
Well, it's big night here in
So
the
I
UK
clicked
now.
on the Forsaken Council and I saw, oh, yeah, there's a show. And I was okay, it's so many hours. 5 o'clock in the goddamn morning. You got to be joking. Again? I always miss it.
Well, not tonight. So that's
So
first for you,
I'm
Ozzy, and
gonna
first for
stay up.
Jamie.
I'm just going
So
to
it's
stay up.
great to have some new faces, new names here.
Yeah.
Glad you guys could make it today.
Yeah, it is good.
Well, like
It
I
is
say, I
good.
always miss it. That's the problem.
Oh well, set your alarm
I was
clock.
hoping Robin was going to be here,
5
but
o'clock in the morning.
I know Robin's not in tonight, but Robin's actually look. Robin's down in Mississippi, that area, and apparently there was a massive flood a while back, and which I mean a long while back, and then she's having her substation power station thing replaced in her street, so they've all had their electricity cut. So she made the show for me tonight, but she said, hopefully I'd like to get back on, but clearly, obviously, the municipals haven't sorted out power.
Yeah, the fridge might not come back, but should have Wi-Fi, which is important.
That's all she cares
That's right.
about.
You've got to get Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi on your computer. That's all you need. What else
That's
you
all
need?
she's
Right.
ever bothered about.
Who needs
worry
a
about
fridge
that.
if you can order fresh food
I
online?
can tell you,
Yeah.
you can go hungry, but in my house, because I've got 3 teenagers, you daren't go without Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. Just don't open the fridge door. It'll stay cold longer.
And on that note, Rum, anything to close, mate?
No, not much at all. Everything's good.
We're running out of steam, mate.
I hope everyone had a great time. I know I did.
oh heck yeah!
Rin, you maybe have a thought. I mean, that's worth it right there alone.
Stop it. Venom, I can see you're still raiding, mate. What about you? Anything?
Hold on. I've got something. Hey.
Was a fart.
Oh, he's got a crew. Disciples. Nice.
Oh my goodness!
The first time in months.
How much did that cost you?
Well, I haven't had one in like months, so
Yeah, I've not had one in 6 months.
Re-roll.
like 100 million or something like that.
Press the re-roll button.
Yeah.
I haven't had one in 3 years. 2 years.
I've never had one.
I've never had one.
I've never
I have one in my inventory. I refuse to
Hang
use
on,
it.
whoa, I'm going to get some violins in a minute, for fuck's sake. Shut up. Come on.
So where are you?
Jesus, you whinging old gits. Wayne, anything, mate?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Good. Right. Okay. Ahoy, my hearty. That's a show. Look it up. Okay. Oh, webpage, not show. Okay. On there. Shipyards on there. Calculators on there. Raid calcs on there. Base bubble calcs on there. Blueprint calculators on there. Turret calculators on there. Turret builders on there. And he's putting a new one in together, so which you can drop down the turret picture and then build it visually. And then all of a sudden, it will flip the screen. And then all of a sudden, you can look at the damage it does. So that's going to be really cool.
What about a
Is there a
Manticore missile
mental
build?
still-
It's still in work in progress at the moment. So, but that's what's coming. So no pressure, Wayne. Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Manticore missile what?
A Manticore missile build.
Ren's done
I
plenty.
have one in my video, but is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just throwing it out there. He was talking about everything else.
All right. I don't want to drive this raid. I'm sick of it already.
I'm doing the whole raid with Missile Manticore. I'm happy with it.
Check you.
I'm
You keen
using
man.
scatter.
I'm
Yeah,
using
scatter.
I like my autoing.
Yeah.
But I guess too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm cheap.
all I'm saying is I'm driving a scatter fleet, which I'm driving like a blitz hull. So because
driving like a
I can do 3 times as many targets for the same. So
Hey, you getting there, Jamie?
I am.
Yeah. 13th.
right, do you know what? I'm going to pull the plug. Get off my show.
I'm going to have to get more points. You're gaining on me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Take it easy. We're going to screenshot it at the end of the thing and see what it ended up like. Who won and that sort of
2
stuff.
hours and 9 minutes.
Yeah, that's enough. Right.
Bye, all.
No.
I'd like to say good night, but it's been a long night. So long night,
No, it's
everybody.
Good morning.
Good
You must
morning
just
to you.
phone it 'cause it's good morning.
Okay. Bye-bye. Get off.
Bye.